We are live from Allstate Arena for the SHL versus CCHL All-Star Game right here on the SHL Network. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the broadcast where tonight we get a special treat, something that fans of high school hockey around the state have been looking forward to for many, many seasons. It's going to pit the Scholastic Hockey League against the Chicago Catholic Hockey League to the top, probably, unarguably, the two top leagues in the state of Illinois. Alongside Dylan Ward, Chris Dubiel, I'm Max Anderson. Thank you so much for tuning in with us here tonight. This matchup, folks, of the last 21 state championship games, both spots have been filled by players from these two leagues. Guys, coming in tonight, there is a very good chance multiple players on the ice are going to be cheering after winning a state championship down on the ice. Yeah, you said it, Max, and that just goes to show you how powerful the Scholastic and the Chicago Catholic Hockey Leagues are. Clearly the two best leagues in the state of Illinois. Obviously, we do work for both of them. Got a lot of great names in this one, too.
Yeah, and just for these players to be playing in a special event like this, an all-star game, you're named the best of your league. It comes with a lot of it's a big honor to play in an all-star game. And to be in this venue, there's got to be some extra jitters in those players' bodies as they're warming up for this game.
Right, this is the first All-Star game in SHL history. Of course, you get the All-State games at the end of the season following the state championship. There's never usually a lot of big fan hype for that game. It's kind of just a celebration of some of the best in the state, but there's been a lot of hype going on here. The stands are starting to pack here on the near side at Allstate Arena. It's going to be a great afternoon. A couple of quick updates. Of course, if you've followed the two leagues, you know that these rosters have been announced for the better part of 2 weeks. There are a couple of scratches here tonight, and it's two specifically from Stevenson that will not be playing at tonight's game. Davis Yeagers and Tristan Caridi, both down with an illness, have been replaced by Josh Jenin and Dylan Jete. So Jete takes one of his teammates' spot, and it'll be Josh Jenin on the other side. So congratulations to those two. Sorry they're not feeling well, fellas. If you guys are back home watching the game, hope you feel better soon. And that actually, with that replacement, GBN becomes the team with the most players in this game. It was Glenbrook South and Glenbrook North tied at 4 apiece, but now with that 5th addition for GBN, they have the most reps here. And real quickly, do want to make sure we run down both rosters for you. Again, very big honor for both of these two sides and these players getting to be chosen into this game representing the best of the best in the state of Illinois. We'll start on the SHL side. Owen Just from Glenbrook North. Jake Nealing from St. Viator, Jacob Smith from Glenbrook North, Robert Medica from Lake Forest, Tristan Caridi from Stevenson, Davis Yeagers from Stevenson, Michael Dimoff and Aiden Siegel, both from Glenbrook North, Alex Cherish from New Trier Green, Jason Band, Zach Freemuth, and Owen Elmberg, all from GBS, Frank Nicosia from York, Angelo Massaro from St. Viator, Leon Switkowski from Carmel, Will Harlow from Stevenson, Will Cusick from New Trier Green, and Tyler Smith from New Trier Green. That rounds out the skaters for the SHL. Of course, the goaltenders, starting goaltender tonight for GBS, and pretty widely agreed upon the best goaltender in the entire state, Lucas Winger from GBS, will get the start for the SHL. Dominic Grimaldi will get the second period, and Adam Kazmarek the third. The SHL is coached by Evan Polikitis, Jim Philbin, Tom Wood, and Steve Martins. Of course, if you follow the SHL, those are 4 of the head coaches in the SHL. We start there, fellas. Just kind of look on the SHL side. A ton of talent. You look at guys like Owen Just, who are really pacing the state right now in offensive power. There's just so much skill on that side.
Yeah, points in almost every game. I believe it's 17 of 19 games Owen Just has had a point for GBN. And the top of that division has been just so competitive. You have a really good GBN team, a really good New Trier team, a really good Glenbrook South team. You still have the likes of Stevenson and Loyola who are battling it out for the upper echelon of the SHL. So it's been a really fun season to this point, and you got some storylines developing as we get to closer to the state tournament and the playoffs for the leagues.
On the CCHL side, we've got Ryan Mancini from St. Rita, along with Nolan O'Malley, also from St. Rita, Jack Peralt from St. Ignatius, Zandis Hoover from Bennett, Tom Kayla from Fenwick, Connor Haggerty from Brother Rice, Hudson Schlee and Cole Rosenthal from Bennett, Vinny Felice from Providence Catholic,
Luke Maher from St. Rita, Jack Reiner from Ignatius, Griffin Delphos from Notre Dame, Nico Felice from Providence Catholic, AJ Iwinski from Marmion, excuse me, thank you. Can't read my own writing. Jack Keady from Brother Rice, Sean Pondolisic from Fenwick, Owen Fask from Fenwick as well. And rounding out Victor Ventura, Corbin Klein was originally voted in, of course, has missed the better part of about 6 weeks with an injury, but he'll be behind the bench. Matthew DiFilippo, William Janis, and Andrew Pavich in net for CCHL, and they'll be coached by Nick Gaichancio and Spencer Montgomery.
And the big thing I'm looking for in this game, Max, is how the teams start to feel each other out in the beginning. It's going to come down to who has that momentum early.
And with that, the opening warm-up buzzers have sounded. Teams are getting their final instructions, and we'll turn it over to our public address announcer, Sam Schwartz. Mesmer with our national anthem, a Chicago treasure. Always good to hear Wayne here on the Allstate Arena speakers. I know he's a fixture here among the Wolves organization. It's always fun to have that element of the broadcasts too. Right before we signed off and turned it over to PA, we're starting to talk a little bit about the CCHL. Nick Gaichancio, over 20 years now as the president of CCHL, head coach Providence Catholic, been such a meaningful part of this Catholic League, which is having a really strong season, some really good teams at the top of the table specifically. Really excited about what we see out of them today.
Yeah, and, you know, for us here at J&M Media, this is our second season now covering the CCHL and the CCHL network, and we've really gotten a feel for the CCHL, and it's a really competitive, fast league, definitely up there with the SHL in terms of talent. And it's going to be interesting how these two leagues fare against each other with the best of the best out there.
And there's some history behind the CCHL as well. This is the oldest league, the oldest youth hockey league in the state of Illinois, dating back to 1963. So there's a lot of heritage and pride from this particular hockey league, and it's going to be fun to see them represented with their best going up against the best of the other best league in the state.
Yeah, and you teased something they're doing, and I think it's going to be something we need to watch throughout the game. You talk about competitiveness. There's a little bit of an underlying rivalry between these two leagues about who has the top hockey in the state of Illinois. You better believe this game is going to go to decide some of that.
Bragging rights on the line for sure.
No doubt about it as we're underway. Quickly, Owen Just from Glenbrook North drops the puck in deep. He's got Jate below the goal line. Back up top, Will Cusick. His shot gets it across to Allenberg. Allenberg shot from the point. Looks like it got deflected on its way to net. And just 20 seconds into the first period, we've got our first goal.
And Max, I don't know if that goal is going to be given to Allenberg, but funny enough, he comes into this game with no goals in the SHL season, only assists to his name, and sure enough, a goal in the All-Star game just 20 seconds in.
Going to get a good look of it from our goal cam here as it just trickled, looks like it trickled between the legs of Pavic.
Yeah, just getting a look at that shot from the point. It's kind of a tough one to start with. It's a fluttering shot through traffic. It's about top of the leg pad, bottom of the arm high for Pavic. He tries to squeeze it, and it just kind of squeaks through him.
So the SHL, an early lead here. It will be credited to Allenberg, so it didn't hit anybody on the SHL side on the way to net. We'll see how the CCHL responds. Coming up the slot, backdoor chance. Fask, the youngest player in this game, just a sophomore from Fenwick, couldn't connect. Now centering pass, trying to deflect it into the slot, but easily cleared by Angelo Massaro.
One thing that'll be interesting to see with this being an all-star game, and none of these guys will have more than a couple of teammates, if that, which team can gel together more quickly?
Yeah, there's no practices, right? None of these guys got together beforehand. Many of them actually have a game later tonight. Stevenson and Glenbrook North are playing in the championship of the Blackhawks Youth Hockey Tournament over at Fifth Third, so they're going to get off the ice here, and they're going to head straight downtown. There's a shot from Jacob Smith. He's the youngest player on the SHL side, which, Dylan, we were talking about before the game. Just one non-senior on the SHL side, and that's Jacob Smith.
Well, also one other non-senior is Zach Freemuth. He is a junior coming into this game, which I'm just seeing now.
15-10 left here in the first period. An early goal off of the stick of Owen Allenberg. Now Massaro trying to pin the puck behind the goal line. Nolan O'Malley, the junior from St. Rita. Settling along near half wall now. Delphos gets the puck. Teams exchange it through the neutral zone, eventually settling it's Leanne Swaitkowski, the lone member from Carmel Catholic in this all-star game. Now with some speed comes Alex Cheris, draws to his forehand, now his backhand, puts it on net, crashing and taking the goal off its post. We'll get a whistle.
It's a slippery move there by Cheris, just kind of little outside, inside, outside, and he gets right around the defender who looked like lost a little bit of balance there, but nice move to get to the net.
Yeah, and Chris, we're going to see a lot of that as this game progresses, I'm sure, as this all-star game sort of is the time to try out those fun moves that you normally wouldn't risk in a regular season game.
It's definitely a try stuff type of game, to put it mildly.
I mean, we've seen Cheris with moves like that in normal regular season games, but just something to keep your eye on.
I mean, the Michigan has kind of turned into a normal thing in the pros. Maybe we'll see one in this game.
Getting over-under on Michigan attempts in this one?
I think we'll have one.
I do want to correct one thing earlier, guys, from earlier. Tristan Creedy and Will Harlow are the scratches from SHL. I think before I said Davis Yeagers. That was incorrect. But the replacements I mentioned, and Josh Jenin and Dylan Jate are, in fact, the replacements. Back underway, trying to break out of their own zones. The CCHL quickly stepping in front of Allenberg. Allenberg hopping up from his defensive spot. He gets checked off the puck by O'Malley. Coming to support side of the net shot off of Ventura. Another shot, fouled backdoor, not able to finish it. Tyler Smith was on the doorstep, couldn't get it to go. Now a shot deflected aside by Pavic. Along the near half wall is Jate. He shoots, has it knocked down. Now another shot from the high slot off the stick of Zach Freemuth, We'll get another offensive zone draw coming for the SHL.
Yeah, and Max, you and I, and you too, Chris, we've probably got a good feel for the jersey numbers in the CCHL and the SHL, but whole new jersey numbers here. One big way to identify players for us and for you at home is the helmets and pants.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a challenge when you don't see the 97s and the 44s of the world represented on the ice in this game. It's a more traditional 1 through 20 with the goalies wearing 30s. So a little bit of an adjustment to make for the guys upstairs.
Hey, we're happy to be here. We'll fight through it for you. Good centering pass, backhanded deflection. Couldn't get it to go.
Sort of the first time Luke Wingers had to move a muscle back there. This has been all SHL so far.
Now a shot, easily gloved, as Freemuth again puts it on net. Another offensive zone draw coming for the SHL.
You're seeing Pavic settle in after that the first shot of the game ended up in the back of the net. But you've really seen Pavic look calm and confident at the top of the crease. He's gloving pucks, not giving rebounds. So settling in on the fifth shot of the game already for the SHL.
Never a good feeling when you give up a goal on that first one, but like you mentioned, Pavic steadying the ship here for the Catholic League. Have had a couple of nice chances going the other way, just haven't been able to finish this far. Backhanded pass into the slot. Now jamming at it in front of the net. Couldn't get it to go. Freemuth in the corner. Nicosia's trying to create some space in front of the net. Now finally, Tom Callow from Fenwick trying to scoop it out, immediately pressured by Siegel. See the speed on the ice. SHL taking away space quickly. This one's going to be icing as A.J. Winsky couldn't catch up to it.
Yeah, he almost squeezed through a check there to win the race to that puck, but just couldn't quite catch up to it.
.12:07 left here in the first period, just getting started live from the Allstate Arena. Dylan Ward, Chris Dubiel to my left. I'm Max Anderson here with the call. The rest of the great SHL Network crew. It's not just an all-star crew down on the ice. Got a couple all-star cameramen as well. Joel Schneider was supposed to join us. In addition, he's a little bit under the weather, but we've got Matt Budin on the main camera.
Look at this.
Chance developing here for CCHL.
And that just deflected aside at the last second. It was Freemuth getting back for the SHL. Now Owen Allenberg trying to dig it out of the corner. Eventually pops free, and setting up play is Jete. He chips it ahead, trying to get it onto the stick of Josh Jenin. Finally, it's going to be Reiner, one of the Ignatius representatives at the blue line, trying to clear it. Just kept in at the point by Will Cusick. Cusick again gets it at the point. Tries to play it off the boards to himself. Eventually just shuttled out. On comes the Catholic League. Here's Reiner. Reiner wearing a familiar number. Wears 12 for Ignatius. He'll be wearing 12 tonight for the Catholic League. Keep saying tonight, not used to a 1:30 puck drop here in the afternoon. Between the legs of Tyler Smith, trying to catch up to it. Now a turnover, trying to get the puck across. Alex Cheris was waiting for it, couldn't get it inside the slot. Cheris in the corner, swipes back to the point. Kneeling drops it right back to him. Kneeling fires towards net, but no contact on its way there, so easily gloved by Pavic with 10:21 left in the first.
Also want to take a moment right now to shout out any Loyola Gold Rambler players, coaches, or fans that might be tuned into the broadcast. We hope you're doing well in your tournament right now. Of course, we miss you guys here on the roster, and you know that probably favors the CCHL a little bit, because if there were Loyola kids on this roster, this SHL team would be that much better.
Yeah, that Loyola squad, talented and only got better post-football season with some reinforcements joining the squad.
Yeah, we got a chance to see Mikey Baker come join the team, coming out of his state championship run with Loyola Gold. Garvin St. John, another one of those depth pieces for Loyola. 9:57 in the first period, just really one prime scoring chance. It was capitalized by the SHL so far. Both teams do a nice job taking away speed and space. Again, it's going to take probably a period for these guys to kind of get used to how to play with each other, get a little bit better feel for the feel of the ice and space of the arena. Again, we've talked about this at these games that we've done for the SHL. that without the normal backdrop, which for a lot of these teams is a cement wall, right, behind the glass, it's just blue seats forever and ever. It takes a little bit of adjustment if you haven't played on it before.
Another thing that might be kind of a low-key factor in this one, it's a lot warmer down there. This is a big building. Usually you're inside a smaller arena. It's a lot colder because the air has nowhere really to go. So you'll be sweating a lot by the end of the first period playing in this arena.
I was sweating just coming up and down, setting up for today. No doubt about that, Chris. Here's below the goal line, Owen Just. Now point-blank chance off the stick of Freemuth. Couldn't get it to go. Following it is Medica. Now Owen Just. Back up top to Medica. Medica's shot blocked in front. Now well played off the glass. In transition comes Felice. Just trying to catch up below the goal line, but taking off his stick. Rink wide comes to Medica. Medica checked hard off the puck. We're wondering before the game if we'd see much physical players. Breakaway chance, trying to break free. Here's a shot, big save by Winger for the stick of Pondolesic.
Pondolesic did a really nice job to fight off the check and still get that shot away. Really had to muscle through that. Oh, look at Just here. Oh,
Just
nearly
side of the
slipped
net.
that in front.
Chips it in front, had a charging Frank Nicosia, but he couldn't connect on the puck in the middle of the air. Smith and Cusick checked off the puck.
That was Siegel that made that nice play for SHL. Wrong GBN Spartan.
Toss one out there. Decent chance you'll hit the right one.
Got the pants right.
Ton of scoring power coming out of that Glenbrook north side. Here's Siegel. Couldn't get it past the stick. Reiner near half wall. Trying to drop it below. Gives it up to Almberg. Now Cusick. He'll stretch past to Nicosia. Not able to control it into the offensive zone. And Connor Haggerty from Brother Rice getting a chance to set the play up for the Catholic League.
Nice little no panic play there by Haggerty. The puck kind of got stuck there, and it's easy to panic as a defenseman if all of a sudden you lose the puck, but he was able to recover nicely and get that out of the zone.
Almberg, a big check. Able to take the puck away. Here's Cusick in transition. Gets it quickly up. Far side. Switkowski's shot. Turned aside.
What a pass there to spring ahead, Angelo Massaro. Close call for a 2-0 lead for the SHL.
Haggerty's pass knocked down for a moment by Jete, not able to play on. Cusick again trying to force it out, but Calla steps up to keep it in. His shot just wide of the net. Starting to see a few more checks in the first 7 or 8 minutes. It was pretty wide open. You think the guys are starting to get into it a little bit, starting to feel like a regular hockey game. Sometimes it's hard to adjust too, right? You're playing hockey and kind of forget that maybe you're in an all-star game. A few more checks coming here.
Yeah, right. No penalty for loss here.
These kids are competitive too. I mean, it's a game that ultimately does not count, but there's a lot of bragging rights on the line, and it's the best of the best, and you want to prove that your best is better than their best.
So on comes Hudson Schlee. A shot. Winger knocks it down to his glove, and the CCHL is going to get their first offensive zone draw of the game.
Only the second save of the hockey game for Luke Winger. Of course, in this format, 3 goaltenders on each squad, 1 gets each period, and Winger has just been doing a lot of hanging out in his blue paint. That just being his second save.
CCHL has had a couple of nice looks at the net, but couldn't connect on a tip or a 2-on-1 pass. The defense has been doing a really good job of coming back and thwarting those couple of 2-on-1s that looked like were developing for the Catholic League earlier in this period.
Now, Tyler Smith trying to play it forward, had the puck a little bit tangled inside of his skates. Jacob Smith from GBN, the lone junior we talked about earlier. On the CCHL side, there's a total of 5 under seniors, including 2 sophomores. The sophomores being Owen Fask and Hudson Schlee. pretty impressive to be in an all-star game like this as just a sophomore. Here's a 2-on-1 chance for Smith trying to get it across to Dimoff. Wasn't able to. And into the glove of Pavic. Saw the goal light go on. Panicked there for a second. Thought I missed something, but
somebody got a little excited.
And that's a great play by Nolan O'Malley, number 3 in the red uniform right there. This will be a nice look. He bends down, just barely gets a piece of that. And Max, you were the first to call it. 2-on-1 for the SHL, almost a 3-on-1. Surprised they couldn't get a shot on target there.
Here's Medica. His pass a little bit wild. Wasn't able to get it across to Switkowski. Now with some speed entering the zone, trying to play it to himself is Dimoff. He'll just fire it below. Excuse me, that was Just that fired it below. Now a turnover shot from Just. It hit shin guards in front, still loose. Unable to get it towards the net. Jete off the give and go. His shot kicked aside by Pavic.
And that chance by Owen Just, of course, he leads the SHL in point production at the varsity level. Would not be surprised at all to see his name on the board a couple times.
4:15 left in this first period. Just a 1-0 lead right now for the Scholastic League. Medica tried to reach up and glove that puck, not able to. And you see Luke Winger quickly out of his net. Jete now in transition. And you're surprised to see that. That's Luke Winger's game. He values himself, and you've heard Jim Philbin, Dylan, many times call Luke Winger his 6th defenseman.
Yeah, one time last season in an SHL regular season game, Eli Kamens, the second goaltender for Glenbrook South, played all 51 minutes. The game went to overtime, and they subbed in Luke Winger just to get that 4th skater type of player out there for the 3-on-3.
Just shows you how much dynamic of an athlete, of course, going to college on a lacrosse scholarship. So this is hockey playing days are going to come to an end here, but certainly one of the great ones in the state is this deflection. Just misses the cage.
A lot of people say he's a better goalie at lacrosse than he is hockey, Max. So
it's pretty frightening to think about.
Well, the money doesn't lie, right? Getting a scholarship.
Oh, yeah. Lemoyne College.
Here's a check. Hard against the boards is A.J. Winiski. Now rink wide comes Nicosia. Nicosia drops it below. See the referees being a little more lenient on things like offsides. Seen a couple that might have been tight offsides calls. Letting a couple of those go. A lot of that can be chalked up too, just with timing and some of the players. So want to keep a free-flowing game here, like that from the officials.
My favorite things in the NHL All-Star game.
Here's Allenberg. His shot scores. Excuse me, Jason Ban on the goal. It's 2-0 Scholastic Hockey League.
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out there to Jason Ban. It was just a wide open chance and kind of knew he was going to score. That's why I stopped my thought. And it's on a great pass from Frank Nicosia. These two players just played against each other right before winter break. That was our last SHL game of the week. And Glenbrook South with the 2 goals so far in this game.
It's a good day to be a GBS player. 2-0 GBS.
There you go. I'll take that.
But just a nice shot there from Ban. Just buried it top shelf.
Good backdoor pass off the stick of Jete. Trying to get it to Jenin, who couldn't get enough on that shot towards net. Now here's the Catholic League trying to respond. Reiner below the goal, takes a check from Allenberg. Trying to dig it out of the corner. Eventually comes free to Jete, plays it off the half wall to Massaro. Massaro cuts into the slot. He shoots into the chest of Pavic. Good save from Pavic as saw the speed of Massaro break free. Back the other way comes Haggerty. Trying to go between the legs, not able to. Excuse me, that was Jack Keedy, his teammate. Now Jenin, centering pass, shot. Pavic able to keep it out. Game's starting to open up just a little bit here, guys.
I was just about to make that point, Max, right on top of it. Yeah, we're seeing these guys are settling in a little bit more. The chances are starting to develop. There's a little more free flow to the game. Got to be a little bit more comfortable now for these players because this is a different environment. We harped on that earlier in the period where you're in a different venue, different teammates. There's an adjustment period for sure.
And a really nice crowd on hand, too. pretty much the entire allocated bowl here down to the near section. I know, well, across it's empty. All the fans have been sectioned to the near side here. Here's another chance in front, just missing the stick of Charis as he came up the slot.
Boy, was that offsides, guys.
Again, I'm more than okay with the suspension of that, especially for this all-star situation. Let's see things open up a little bit. Here's Smith. Hudson Schlee's going to drop it deep. Now Charis goes around one man, a shot. Not able to turn aside. That was Tyler Smith. Back in transition comes the CCHL. Here's Vinny Felice. His shot deflects into the corner. Smith trying to play it out. Eventually comes free to Kneeling. Shot just misses the near post. Back the other side, waiting for it was Dimoff. Taking off his stick. Point blank chance from Ventura trying to stuff it home, but Winger keeping that pad just to his right. And how do you like that? You got Alex Charis, a New Trier Trevian, defending the goaltender of GBS Luke Winger.
Yeah, and that's save number 5 of this period for Luke Winger, of course. With 44 seconds left, again, mentioned it earlier, each goaltender will get 1 period of play, so Winger tries to stay perfect here to add to the GBS resume.
Speaking of just 44 seconds left in this first period, get to that thought here in a second, is trying to wind up, take a shot. Was Nico Felice, wasn't able to get much on it. Now Ventura trying to play it towards the front, not able to, but stay with us. After the first period, we're going to have Wolves President of Business Operations, centering pass, what a goal by Owen, just coming up the slot. Absolute highlight reel stuff. It's 3-0 Scholastic Hockey League.
You've seen the SHL threatening this play a few times throughout this period. They finally connect on it, and no mistake made there. They just buries it top shelf. Not much Pavic could have done on that particular play. It's a perfect pass, perfect redirect.
So now it's not just Glenbrook South, guys. It's the Glenbrook School District.
Really owning this one so far. 3-0 Scholastic League with 20 seconds to go in the period. Just to finish the thought, John Seda, the Wolves President of Business Operations, will join us here in the first period intermission. So stay right with us. We'll take a quick break. Come back with that here. 5 seconds. Just fires it deep. Centering pass, but intercepted by Fask. And that will do it for the first period. And it was all Scholastic League through 1. It's a 3-0 score, guys. What'd you see?
Well, obviously domination here by the SHL early. Not just on the scoreboard. It's 3-0, but also the shots on goal. 16-5. The SHL was really pressuring that whole way. And it all started with that Almberg shot that you see on your screen there that just kind of trickled over the goal line and by Andrew Pavic, and that's what sort of started that momentum for the Scholastic League.
Yeah, for the Catholic League, it was kind of a rough start, but what we were seeing in that period was they were trying to counterattack off the rush. The SHL is making plays, but if they can get that puck back and transition quickly and start connecting on some of these cross-ice passes as they're moving up the ice, they'll get some more chances. I think they're just trying to adjust to what the SHL is throwing at them.
So with that, we're going to take a quick timeout. We're going to get the ice cleaned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a minute with our interview with Wolves President of Business Operations, John Seda, in just a moment right here on the SHL Network. You're watching the SHL CCHL All-Star Game on YouTube Live.
Here's a shot by Mulvey. It just goes high. Fremont centered. Mulvey, he scores! GBS wins the first ever Chicago Wolves series.
Yeager's patient with the puck, centering. Jatay's shot. He scores! Now cross ice, the shot from Caridi and a huge save from Grimaldi. Falls a big shot, save, backdoor chance, scores!
Shot in on that one, Laughlin with the right pass. Second chance opportunity, and the Mustangs counter right back.
Welcome back. Second period action going underway. Sorry, a little bit of miscommunication. Thought we were getting a nice cut between periods, but we're right back underway here in the second period. A 3-0 Scholastic Hockey League lead. Joining us now on the broadcast is we've got Wolves President of Business Operations, John Seda. John, thank you so much for joining us. Glad you could hop on with us here for just a couple of minutes as we get to see this All-Star game. First, just kind of wanted to talk generally about this partnership that's developed with the SHL and the Wolves getting more involved with high school hockey. What has this relationship between these hockey leagues, high school hockey leagues, and the Wolves meant to the organization?
Well, thanks for having me. It's a privilege to be here, and we're thrilled to have this here. This will be we played 2 regular season games earlier before the holiday break, and then this will be our 3rd game today. And it's been terrific. At its core, we have a really distinct interest to continue to develop the game and see it develop at all different age groups and ranks, and we're really happy to have these leagues here playing on our ice. It's fantastic.
Of course, we've got Chris Dubiel next to me as well, the public address announcer here for the Wolves organization. So just getting everybody involved here. Chris, you've had a chance both to obviously work with the Wolves and then come take a decent bite of high school hockey here lately. What's it been like for you seeing how this relationship's developed between the organizations?
It's been a ton of fun, and it's extremely meaningful to be involved on both sides of it because both sides of it means a lot to me. So just to see the Wolves coming together with youth hockey and in particular high school hockey, it's been very special, and honored to be involved in all aspects.
So, John, I wanted to ask you just a quick hockey question. As you've been here so far, you've gotten a chance to meet some of the players beforehand, now see them on the ice. What have you seen so far? Maybe some guys that could make it to some levels here going forward?
I sure hope so. It's a fun outing. I think a lot of times in sports in general, the All-Star game, you see a lot of these, a lot of players at the pro ranks kind of phone it in, and it's more ceremonial than anything. And boys are out here to play today. They are treating this as a huge event, and I think a real honor to be playing in this game. They all got to see the old wooden skates trophy on the way in, and I think it's a symbol of significance that they're playing for. And everybody from the whistle, the first whistle, has been playing really intense and playing really hard today.
And do certainly want to give a quick shout out to Tim Weaver. I know he's watching at home. Under the weather, wasn't able to make it. He's been so instrumental in developing this partnership, John, along with the rest of your team and getting this going. So, Tim, big thank you to you, all your help and cooperation getting this event together. I know it's a heavy lift, but I know it's really an amazing event for the kids, the parents, the players, everybody involved. So definitely want to give Tim a big thank you.
Yeah, Tim has been the architect from brick one on our end on all of this. He came to me late in the season last year and over the summer, and really with an open-ended question about what if we can do this? What if we can get more involved in high school hockey and bring some of this to the Allstate? And he had a vision for it and a significant passion for it, and has really done a nice job in this program, having these games being played here, certainly in its infancy, but I think out of the gate has been received really well, and a lot of that credit goes to Tim and his vision and all the hard work he's done to build the program.
Looks like Adam Kesmerick in net, and CCHL is going to get on the board. Quick wrist shot from the far circle gets the scoring started for the Catholic League, so they inch their way back into it here, 3-1. I believe that was Vinny Felice on the far side. A little bit tough to pick up the number from here.
That was Vinny Felice with the quick release.
That's a good candidate for a nickname for Mr. Felice. Vinny Felice, the release, but 3-1 now, just trailing by 2 scores. And if you're the CCHL, feeling like you're punching back into it just a little bit. As we talked about at the end of the first period, it felt like the Scholastic League might have been a little bit more control, but starting to see the pushback here from the Red Sweaters. John, one last thing I wanted to make sure we talk about. Here's a shot. Just missing the net. Was our 4th and I believe final of this high school series for the season. That we're, I think, excited to announce on January 29th. It's going to be York and Lake Forest coming up at the end of next month. So the 4th and final one of these partnership, but just generally speaking, moving forward after, we're more than halfway through year 1 of this program, what you've seen out of this collaboration and kind of what it can be going forward.
Like I said, I think it's a really special thing, and we're thrilled to have it here. I think, having the caliber of teams that have played with us through the first 2 regular season games, and obviously the caliber of talent out here today, finishing off the 4-game set with York and Lake Forest, I think would really be a fantastic way to complete the first year of the program. And we hope to see it continue to grow. And I think all that's going to be, it's going to be dictated by the enthusiasm of the kids. We want this to be a destination for them to play during the season. We want to see the fan support and all of that, and want to see the continued development of the game. And I think it's a really special place to do that.
So 13:03 left in the second period. Big game coming up tonight, of course, for the Wolves, up at 7 o'clock. And everybody that came today also got their ticket to that game tonight. So fun way to spend your Friday night on New Year's Eve. Catch some high school hockey here in the afternoon. Right back here tonight for a big one at 7 o'clock.
It's funny. We were talking before this game. We had last year we had a game scheduled on New Year's Day against Rockford, and we were excited to play that game. And today is the kind of the 1-year anniversary that we had to sit our staff down in the office and actually on a Zoom call and make announcements. That game was delayed and things were getting pushed out in January because of COVID. And about this time last year, a lot changed in our season because of COVID, and we had some things shut down. So it's nice to be here. We're excited about the game tonight, a year later. Obviously, a lot's happened since then with our team, and we're excited to get back on the ice against Rockford tonight. Should be a good game. We've played those guys tight all year, so we're looking forward to it.
I was going to say, to talk about turning things around, turned it around to a Calder Cup championship. So really got things going there at that January, that break, that shutdown, it seems like, and led it all the way to a championship.
It was a ride. It was looking back, in the moment as things are happening, it was a lot of fun. In looking back, it was really magnificent how special that team was last year. And I think you saw signs of it in the moment, but once everything was in the record books, it was nice to really realize what a special ride we were on. It was cool.
So do want to make sure we touch on the new goaltenders. There's 3 for each team, so each side will get a different goalie every period. This period for number 2 on the SHL side, it's Adam Kismerick in net. Of course, the senior netminder from York, who's having an absolutely stellar season for the Dukes. Good stretch pass. Comes to the stick of Massaro, has it taken off. Centering pass from Jate just misses. On the opposite side, we've got Matthew DiFilippo from Mount Carmel now in net. His team having a tough season, but he's having a stellar season in net. Centering pass. Massaro couldn't get it on net. Final thing for you, John, before we let you go. You've had a chance now to see some of the hockey here between the SHL and the CCHL. If you had to put your hockey hat on one more time, what'd you like to see for the rest of this game?
Well, I'll tell you, the first goal went in quick, and it was a kind of a wonky bounce. I think this game's a little tighter than a 3-1 game at this point. I think the Red Sweaters are going to push back hard and make it close towards the end.
Well, John, I really appreciate you coming on with us here and spending some time on the broadcast. Good luck tonight, and of course the rest of the season. We'll be following and be right back here with the SHL Network crew in just about a month. So thank you for everything. Really appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for the opportunity to host y'all.
That's John Seda, the president of business operations for the Chicago Wolves. Thank you for his time here on the broadcast. With 10:40 left here in the second period. But Chris, I know you've had this chance to work with the organization and all of John's support and Tim's support. Feels great to see these figures put so much effort into the high school level.
Oh yeah, it's so cool. Like John mentioned it a couple times, just making it a destination to play at this venue, make it special for these players.
Speaking of special, Tyler Smith, the backhanded shot through the legs of DiFilippo, makes it 4-1 Scholastic League.
I think that might have been...
That was Medica
Yeah.
with the backhander. It was a nice one. The toughest shot for a goalie to read, and you see it right here.
Yep. The Lake Forest scout, Robert Medica, of course, Lake Forest, an expansion team in the SHL this season, playing their first season as part of the Scholastic League. And there you have an all-star from that team scoring a goal.
So now a 4-1 Scholastic League lead. CCHL had really done a nice job to the first part of this period, starting to take a little bit of ice room back, but Scholastic League puts it right back where it was at the end of one. Here's Dimoff. trying to play it out. Swings it across from the top of the circle. Shot deflected up and out of play. And we'll get an offensive zone draw coming for the SHL.
Yeah, and guys, I was off to the side. I was listening into the broadcast, and one thing you guys were talking about how it's really going to open up, and we're going to see this push from the Chicago Catholic League. SHL still dominating shots overall, but here in the second period, it's all square at 4 shots apiece between these two sides.
Yeah, this has really developed into a more of a tight game. This is almost what you would see in a regular season game, almost, the way that these teams are playing against each other, and that just speaks to what John mentioned when we were talking with him, that they realize that this is a big game. It's not just an all-star game where you come and you hang out. So competition level has been high.
It's historic, too. It's the first time we've had an all-star game between these two leagues.
Yeah, this is something we've been calling for a long time. It was always kind of a hard one to schedule, right? Even in this case, here's a big slap shot from up top off the stick of Jenin. Not able to get it to go. Excuse me, that was Cusick. Trying to play it on now to Zach Freemuth, but something that a lot of people have wanted. It's always been really difficult scheduling-wise. There's a breakaway chance. Schlee's shot. He's taken down as he let it go. Excuse me, that was Owen Fask on the breakaway. But always something kind of difficult to schedule. Of course, we talked about the Stevenson and Glenbrook North skaters are going to go right from this game. They're going to buzz down I-90 down to Fifth Third Arena for a championship tournament game. So not an easy schedule, but you know they all wanted to be here for this one.
No doubt about it. I mean, it's not every year or every couple of years you get selected to play in an all-star game. Having from personal experience only playing in an all-star game as a 10-year-old in baseball. That's the only all-star game I've ever been in, so I can't imagine
that's why we're up here, Chris.
Turning down the opportunity to play in the SHL CCHL All-Star game here at Allstate.
8:04 left in the second period. Glove save there by Kazmarek to keep it just one score so far for the CCHL. Couple good chances here in the last minute. You know, you'd love to find a way to get this game to a one-goal game. That's when you'd really see some of that intensity pick up. A stretch pass just past the stick of Aiden Siegel. He's able to get it back, gets to Nicosia. Nicosia, nice move, gets it to his forehand, but it was DiFilippo all over it.
Yeah, and in our most recent regular season broadcast, Glenbrook South and York saw Nicosia have a great game, scored the game-tying goal late in the second period, which eventually forced it to a shootout. He got the winner. Had a nice move there, but couldn't get it by the goaltender, DiFilippo.
So draw to come to the left of DiFilippo. One clean lead by Schlee. He quickly gets it out. In transitions, Maher. Maher with some space. He'll shoot off the stick of Kazmarek. Collecting at the near point is Peralt. He'll drop it deep. Oh, Maher trying to get some energy started here for the Catholic League. Cole Rosenthal from Bennett now in the near half wall trying to dig it out. Peralt able to keep it in. But other way in transition comes Ban. Ban gets it to Siegel. His shot, another glove save by DiFilippo.
GBS-GBN connection there on that rush up the ice.
See Maher with a couple nice moves, goes right around the defender there.
He really turned on the Jets. And that's the thing about this All-Star game, you know, is we're going to see where the intensity level is for individual players. Because when you get in a regular season game, everyone is just just trying as hard as they can, and it's more of like a fun, casual thing. You're going to get a wide variety of what players, how they're going to treat it.
Swakowski's shot in front. I think you get an indication from O'Malley there, who just took that one right to the shin boards to make sure it didn't get in on DiFilippo. Siegel trying to draw the puck around one defenseman. Wasn't able to. Swakowski there at center ice. Gets it down to Jete. Here's Jete. Ed Massaro coming up the back door. Wasn't able to get to him. Now Medica from the high slot. Shoots. Blocked out in front. A little bit of miscommunication between Jete and Medica. Both thought the other was going to go get the puck. Switkowski here at the near blue line trying to make sure that stays in. He does. Massaro with some space goes around one. Can't get around to second. And almost a stretch pass connected to Schlee. So alert stick there right at the last second by Siegel to make sure that didn't get completed. Jate in the near half wall gives way to Siegel. Jate below the goal. As Cheris waiting with him. Almberg across to Cusick. He winds up, shoots, deflected in front. And DiFilippo keeps it out again. That red goal light came on. Every time, I knew I was right there. Still gives you a little bit of a pause.
Yeah, especially when you're not used to red lights. You know, when we're over at the community rinks, you don't get the red light usually at those. But I wonder who's controlling the red lights here.
Somebody's got an itchy,
I believe that's in
trigger,
the score box. It's our friends down in the score box.
Whoever has them.
Hey, it's an all-star game for them too, right? This pass goes all the way down ice. That's going to be an icing and an offensive zone draw coming for the SHL. 5:38 left here in the second period. 4-1, Scholastic Hockey League leads.
Not a lot of whistles in this game, guys. It's really been flying by. I mean, feels like we kind of just started and we're already more than halfway through regulation time. Hasn't been much action here in the second period as of late. Early on, there were a couple goals by each team, but waiting for more action.
Stretch pass, catching up to it, it's Felice. Holmberg pins him in the corner. Felice gets some help from his brother. Now below the goal, Ventura trying to settle the puck. One guy's name that we haven't called yet tonight, Corbin Klein. And an amazing season. Here's a breakaway chance, leaving it, shooting, big save, DiFilippo. And it was Alex Cheris with space in the low slot there, who's looking for his goal in the All-Star game.
And you got a couple of Trevians and a Spartan on that rush, and that was a great passing play all the way to the net. Could have been probably the best goal of the game if it had gone in, but, I mean, that drop-off pass by Michael Dimov was just fantastic to get it right to the stick blade for the shot.
You could see some heads hanging. They were mad that they didn't convert on that one.
Yeah.
But started to say Corbin Klein is back healthy. We saw him with a kind of a scary injury in that championship at the Thanksgiving tournament. Had been out since, just got cleared. He's behind the bench, not playing in tonight's game, but good to see him back. Centering pass goes off the leg of Haggerty. Now Allenberg winds up, shoots, goes off the back, ahead, and the thigh, finally settles on a stick of Cusick, who has his shot blocked. Trying to find some control, finally doing that's Cheris. He skates, tries to drag between his leg. Haggerty takes it away and able to clear it out.
Usually don't hear a whole lot of compliments about defensive play in an all-star game, but I have to point out that Connor Haggerty's been good with the poke checks in this one. He's been good defensively one-on-one in this hockey game.
Yeah, there's been 3 or 4 instances of that where he's looked pretty good. Now with some speed comes Pondolisic. He leaves high slot. Shot off the stick of Rosenthal, kicked aside. Trying to keep it in was Peralt, just rolls over his stick, so he's got to retreat back to the center ice line and regroup for the CCHL. There's Pondolisic. Him and Smith battle behind the goal. Finally prying it free was Zach Freemuth. Still able to keep it alive. Now here's Freemuth. Freemuth gets it back. His shot wasn't able to get everything on it. Just comes to it in the corner. Now below the goal, Jate. Jaegers with the puck. That misses the intended target of Freemuth and right back out into the neutral zone. It'll be Just that just has to fire it in. 2:54 left here in the second period. 4-1 Scholastic Hockey League lead. Same lead they had at the end of the first. Each team with a goal here in the second. Now dragging around one man. Here's Just with speed. Just at the last second. Had Jack Reiner stick get in the way of his shot. Here's Smith, winds up, shoots, hits Nicosia on its way to net. Not able to get it all the way in on DiFilippo. Backhanded pass just behind the darting Jason Ban, who was coming up the slot. Now Reiner off the board trying to catch up to it. You see a sprawling Kaczmarek. Comes all the way out, drops his glove on it. Should have been a delay of game as he was past the allowed area for that. He's having a conversation with the referee behind the play. A sprawling Kaczmarek trying to keep it just one goal for the CCHL.
And there's one of those why not plays that we were talking about early in the broadcast. This is the game to do it. And Kaczmarek channels his inner Luke Winger there.
Seen Luke Winger do that a lot over the years.
There's a little bit of hesitation there, but he did get to that puck quick enough.
You almost could feel it in his body language, like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to jump out there. Here's Medica with some speed and a nice move as his shot turned away. Backdoor Nicosia. Oh, what a pass. He ended up getting it to go.
Wow. I thought that was kicked in, boys.
It looked like it was. It was initially kind of fumbled by Aiden Siegel on the back door. Nicosia with an unselfish, great pass. We'll get a replay of it here.
Yeah, look at that. He's doing the kicking motion as he comes back to the bench. That is awesome.
Gonna get a good look at it here. You see Nicosia, great pass.
You know what, though? It didn't look like the exact distinct kicking motion when you get a second look here. I mean, it definitely goes in off the skate, but you can have a debate on whether he was intentionally kicking it into the net.
My take on that is always, unless it looks like, you know, Messi's trying to score a free kick goal, that it should be a goal. At the end of the day, in the heat of action, speed of action, your body's moving in about a million different directions. That it better be a clear, what do we call those? Set pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, you saw a little bit of hesitation. I'm not sure if our cameras caught it from the referee, not knowing whether or not to score the goal. But he just said, I'm going for it. It's the All-Star game.
And you kind of give the benefit of the doubt there, too. His momentum's taking him towards the net, and he's trying to one-time that play, deflects it, and his back leg on his follow-through is what puts the puck into the net.
And how about a couple of goals by Titans and a couple of goals by Spartans, the other one being from a scout for the SHL side of things. Glenbrook School District really
another
powering
stretch
the way.
pass, trying to find another one is the Glenbrook School District. Getting it to Massaro. His backhanded shot couldn't get much on it. DiFilippo did a nice job to get post to post.
He's been doing a lot of that in this period, the Mount Carmel goalie. Moving around in his crease a lot. There's been a lot of east and west play from the SHL, and DiFilippo's been making some nice saves.
Now just 15 seconds left here in the second period. Don't go anywhere after our second period. We're going to have an SHL and CCHL conversation. We'll have Andrew Schlee from the CCHL and head coach of York, Matt and Boeing. So don't go anywhere. We'll take a quick break, come back with that interview. We'll do an ice cut as well. So after two periods, it's a 5-1 SHL lead in what was a 2-1 second period. A little bit more free-flowing, a little bit more controlled, and a little bit more battle there from the CCHL in the second period.
Yeah, the CCHL definitely started to get their own opportunities. We saw the nice snipe there from Vinny Felice to get his team on the board. But on the other side of things, the SHL really starting to open things up, kind of take advantage of when the SHL is trying to make a play, or when the CCHL is trying to make a play, the SHL is able to counterattack. So we've really seen the game open up.
So with that, we will step aside here for just a moment, catch our breath, come back with our second period intermission interview in just a minute right here on your home for SHL hockey, the SHL Network on YouTube Live. Welcome back live here to Allstate Arena. Max Anderson. I'm with Andrew Schlee, who's the Public Relations or Media Relations Director for the CCHL. We've got Matt Boeing here, head coach of York. Guys, thank you for joining me. Really appreciate it. Obviously, a very special event. We've been talking about this event and kind of what it means for both leagues. Matt, I want to start with you as head coach of York. Seeing a couple of your players get in here. We saw Kazmarek have a nice period. What's it like to see the boys out on the ice?
Yeah, it's definitely well-deserved. York's been making a statement, I feel like, for the last few years, kind of getting some respect throughout the SHL, throughout the state of Illinois. Frank's one of our leading guys last year, moving into this year, 4-year varsity player. Really making a statement out there for our program. Kaz came to our program last year, made the SHL All-Star team, did a lot of special things for us. So goaltending's been a big thing for our program the last few years. Got great goaltending coaches as well, so it's been great to see the boys out here.
Andrew, you're here as a coach, as a executive within the CCHL, of course, doing the media relations. You're also here as a dad, of course. Hudson in this game is just a sophomore. What's that like watching this game as a coach, as an official, as a parent, all of those things combined?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of high school hockey in general. I've been coaching for a long time in high school hockey, and I was hoping my son would have that experience. I think this is a great event for showcasing high school hockey in general. I think it's great to have these two leagues involved in this event. I certainly hope it continues in the future and encourages more kids to play high school hockey over some of the alternatives.
I don't know if you guys realize this. We talked about this earlier in the broadcast. Since 2000, every single state championship game has featured two teams, of course. Both those teams have come from one of these two leagues. There hasn't been a team outside of these two leagues play in the high school state championship game in over 20 years. Goes to show you, Matt, the power of these two leagues.
Yeah, absolutely. SHL, Catholic League, two dominant leagues in the state. I think a lot of that comes from players choosing to play for their high school instead of kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out playing double rostered teams. So I think both leagues really preach to choose playing for your high school because that's the spot to play right now, and it's really starting to take over, in my opinion, as far as being the place to play for midget hockey right now.
And Andrew, I know we've been working together a lot this year, and really, the broadcasts here over the last 2 years, again, same mission, right? Trying to grow the exposure of high school hockey. We've had great experience with you, with Coach Grisbeck, of course, President Nick Ichancia leading this effort last year. To see the growth in the CCHL over the last 2 years, what's that been like?
It's been good for us the last few years, and I think the model for the CCHL and the SHL as coach-run leagues makes a difference. The longevity and tenure of those coaches contributes to the success, and that should probably continue in this state. Hopefully more of the other programs and leagues take advantage of that model, and I'd certainly like to see the growth of the Catholic League continue.
I had asked John Seda, the president of the Wolves business operations, when we had him on after the first period, the same question. We had a great event, but I'm going to ask you guys to put on your hockey hat here for just a minute. First, what have you seen on the ice? Andrew, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it's been the expected game, right? It's more about showcasing the skills than actually going out there and trying to hurt someone or play super competitive hockey. And I think you see a lot of the skill out there. These are high-end, talented players.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of crash in the net, looking back door, kind of making those seam passes right there and finishing. So it's been a lot of talent out there. They've been showcasing its speed, threading the needle, showing a little hands off a little bit. It's been good stuff.
Matt, we talked about it with John Seda before, but announcing the final part of this SHL series here at Allstate Arena is going to be your York team against Lake Forest here at the end of next month. What's for the program, for your team, for your players, what's the excitement level like?
Yeah, it's definitely huge playing on a bigger stage. Even here, I have a feeling that later on there's going to be a pretty big crowd, getting a lot of York students out here, Lake Forest students out here. It's big, putting us on the map, social media-wise, and York's came to play and has continued to grow. Going back to what Coach Andrew said over here, it's kind of building a foundation and letting the coaches kind of prosper and develop a program for the long haul. And our board's been great behind that right now, and that's our mission right now is to keep on putting York on the map. We're excited for January.
Well, fellas, I really appreciate you guys joining us here for the second period intermission. Best of luck to your son, your players here in the third period, and we'll, of course, see you guys on the SHL and CCHL networks here in the next few weeks as well. So thank you so much, Andrew, Matt, your support. Matt Boeing, Andrew Schlee, I'm Max Anderson. We'll take a quick break, come back with third period action in just a minute right here on your home for the CCHL SHL All-Star Game YouTube Live. Welcome back live to Allstate Arena. Third period of the CCHL SHL All-Star game coming up in just a minute. It's a 5-1 lead for the Scholastic Hockey League thus far. Talked about it being an all-star game here, the best of the SHL, the best of the CCHL. We actually brought that right up here to the broadcast booth as well. Of course, we've got Matt Booten, longtime cameraman here in the SHL, running the camera. Big thank you to him for all his great work over the many months, many hours. Appreciate him. Of course, we got Butch Connolly. He's the team videographer for St. Ignatius. He's helping us out here today. We talk about all-star teams. Can't talk about all-star teams without talking about Butch Connolly. So big thank you to him for running the camera. Joel Schneider was supposed to also be here. Those Glenbrook North fans out there, of course, know Joel is the team videographer for the Spartans. He was supposed to join us. Feeling a little bit under the weather, so wasn't able to make it. But big thank you to them. And, of course, our biggest all-star. You can replace me, Chris, or Dylan. Can't really replace Jimmy the Wiz Olsen. So bringing you all the graphics and replays, all the great work he does on the technical broadcast for us. So big thank you to our all-star crew, not just all-stars down on the ice.
Doesn't happen without the production team.
That's true. We're just talking heads. You can replace us quite easily. Here's underway here, just 30 seconds into the third period. We'll see what kind of a pushback we get from the Catholic League. Had a much better second period. Here's a pass that just missing an outstretched stick, so that will be an icing with 45 seconds into the third period.
Guys still waiting for a Michigan attempt here in this game. Got one more period to do so. Also, no penalties in this game. Not too surprised at that.
16-16 left in the third.
Yeah, they have been kind of letting them play, but even at that point, there really hasn't been anything egregious. There's been some physical play, but there hasn't been anything overly dirty or chippy with regards to possible penalties.
Now breaking free is Haggerty. Followed up, shot off the post. Quick wrister from Felice.
I believe that was Delfoss.
Excuse me, Delfoss with the wrister.
Ripped that off the post. We got back-to-back posts here.
Now Olmberg, he shoots, deflected, sprawling save, trying to keep it out, still bouncing around, and eventually it gets forced home, says the referee.
Yeah, he pointed.
So that's going to be 6-1 SHL, and I actually think that's back in net is Andrew Pavich because William Janis is not playing tonight. He is behind the bench, but won't be out on the ice. So Pavich gets third period duty. It's going to be a 6-1 SHL lead.
We see Davis Yeagers leading the charge back to the bench. Got to think that he's the last one who got a stick on it. Hard to tell from this replay. This will be the obvious one, and yeah, that's going to be Yeagers' goal.
I think we had a jersey trade, actually, Max, because Pavich has got the green pads, and looks like some Bennett Red Wing pants on this goalie. So that might be Janis in the net, but
a little bit hard to tell.
You get some jersey swaps going in the game.
Let's get some names on the jerseys for next year's game, huh?
We'll work on it. I will pitch that idea. So regardless of who got it to go and who let it go, it's 6-1 SHL lead now. Here's O'Malley. Hudson Schlee waiting for it at the blue line. The sophomore from Bennett gets it across, just misses the stick of Felice. Nicosia tried a quick pass out, just misses his intended target. Here's Reiner. Reiner shoots. In this third period now is Dominic Grimaldi for the SHL in net. Of course, the senior netminder from St. Viator on the season. Better than 91% save percentage. A little more than 2 goals allowed a game. Big part of the turnaround we've seen from St. Viator. Really had a slow start to the season. Have really come on strong over the last 4 to 6 weeks or so. Back up near the top of the SHL. This pass misses everybody. Back to get it O'Malley. Here's Jete back in his own end, turning it over. Here's Owen Fask. Fask not able to play it past. Medica from Lake Forest able to carry it out of the zone for the SHL. Settling it is Jacob Smith. He has his feet taken out from under him. Gonna stall, try to get his teammates help. Cross ice from Fask. Great look, trying to find Luke Maher on the back door. Wasn't able to complete it. Here's Ventura prying it loose to Kayla. A shot deflected into the slot. Couldn't get a follow-up from the Catholic League. Back in transition comes Massaro. Massaro's shot kicked aside and saved. Now battle here along the near half wall. Everybody digging at it. About 4 or 5 bodies trying to pry it free. Eventually it's a shot off the stick of Jenin. Couldn't get it to go. Jate below the goal. Tried to keep the play going for the SHL. Couldn't. And Swiatkowski back at the red line to settle it for the Scholastic League. Buys some time. Gets it on to Jate. Massaro just lost track of where he was.
Went right into the end boards and took him out.
At kind of an awkward angle. Hopefully he's all right. Owen Fask again. Centering pass. Alert stick to disrupt was Jate. And now Jenin from Glenbrook North takes it away. Alex Cheris knocks that puck down out of midair, trying to cause some offense for the SHL with 12:20 to go. Here's Smith trying to get it to go. Centering pass just misses his intended target. Trying to dig it out from below the goal line. Finally coming away with it is the SHL. Almberg calling for it at the near point. He gets it. Top of the circle shot into the chest. And swallowed up. We'll get a face-off draw to the left.
And one thing to note, guys, is we have a freeze on the clock here with a 5-goal lead. It's 11:52 to go in the third period. So no running clock here in spite of a 5-goal lead like you usually see in competitive games in the SHL and CCHL. They're playing a full 51 here for the ASG.
Good to see that. I mean, despite a lopsided score, everybody wants to get their ice time, and and it hasn't felt like a typical blowout would feel.
No, not at all. Not in the most 5-goal leads. You can kind of feel it. The CCHL have had their chances, haven't been able to finish. I feel like this game could easily be 6-3, or maybe even 6-4.
And we had a full goal swing earlier in this period. Delphos hit the post, and then the SHL came right back at the other end and scored.
Right.
So we could be looking at 5-2 right now, a 3-goal game, but just a tough break for the Catholic League on that particular play earlier in this period.
11:30 to go, trying to get it across was Pondalisic. Here's a shot just missing the net. Follow-up from Delphos. Wasn't able to get a second shot. Back the other way comes Dimoff. Dimoff drops for Cheris. Looking for Smith across. Couldn't get it to him. In transition comes the CCHL. Pondalisic leads it. He'll skate wide. Looks, shoots, blockered away in the slot. Follow-up shot. Another pad save by Grimaldi.
A couple of good looks there for the CCHL. That last rebound, if they could settle that puck, they're looking at an open net. But the one thing I'm noticing about Grimaldi is he's really sending those rebounds out far and getting them away from around the crease.
Shot from Schlee. Elmberg gets in the way of that. Sharp angle. Easily turned aside by Grimaldi. 10:30 to go here in the third period. The SHL in control, 6-1 lead. Dimoff trying to play it up, gets deflected into the bench. You can see the bright blue shirt of head coach of Providence, Nick Ichoncio. Spencer Montgomery alongside him, leading the CCHL bunch.
2 all-star coaches, in my opinion, no doubt about that. President of the league on one side, newly appointed head coach, previously an assistant for St. Ignatius on the other.
Saw it flash across the screen there for just a moment, but if you're liking the high school hockey action, make sure you follow the SHL and CCHL on YouTube. Now breakaway opportunity. Here comes Freemuth. Cross off the inside of the post. The shot of Jaegers. What a move by that Wolverine helmet.
Yeah, it looked like he caught the elbow of the goal post, right where the post and the crossbar meet.
Inside of it. I mean, if that's another inch further down, that's in the back of the net. Waiting in the slot, gets deflected just side of the net. Now a shot deflects off the stick of Jake Nealing. Comes back to the point, and Smith across to Nealing. Nealing into the slot to Freemuth. Freemuth tried to leave it for just, wasn't able to complete the pass. Now comes the Catholic League in transition. Here's Felice trying to go around one man. Aggressive out of his net is Grimaldi. Here's a shot looking for a deflection. Oh, what a save at the last second. Grimaldi reached back and brings it into his glove.
It was a nifty tip in front, and right at the last second, that puck dribbled to the line.
Oh, I mean, that might be the play of the All-Star game.
The hand-eye coordination, too, to make sure he didn't, even while he was reaching back, accidentally knock it in, because the puck was on its edge. If he just even nicks the top of that puck,
right,
probably enough to push it across.
Spot on with that. Great save by Grimaldi.
Yeah, those are some good hands, and ruins a great chance for Jack Perot. Would have had that. That would have been his goal. He had the tip. But Grimaldi had other plans for it.
Trying to keep it just one goal. So far, the only given up goal was from Adam Kizmarek on the SHL side. Winger and Grimaldi, perfect thus far.
And you got to think, guys, even in a sort of a blowout game like this, such a lopsided score, these goalies only get 17 minutes of fame here in the All-Star game. So they're going to be locked in for that entire period.
Absolutely. Now transition, comes Aiden Siegel, waiting for some help. He'll leave it for Nicosia with a ton of space. His shot just misses the net. He had the netminder beat. Couldn't finish. Now 2-on-0 comes the CCHL. Here's Fask across, backhanded shot.
What a
Huge
stop.
save from Grimaldi. Now another shot in front, deflects. A turnaround, whipping the puck right at the chest is Luke Maher. So the CCHL having a good run of it here with 8 minutes to go.
Guys, I don't know if we're doing an All-Star MVP or not, but Dominic Grimaldi might just have my vote. I mean, just back-to-back. I think he makes 3 to 4 saves in this sequence, plus the one we were just talking about. He's been super solid in that blue paint for the SHL in this final period.
Yeah, the footwork on that save, just pushing off post to post and covering that whole crease, that was impressive.
So the CCHL continues to be denied. Goaltenders didn't get the message that this should be a high-scoring game, at least on the SHL side. Now kicked in front and swiped away by Owinski. Owinski follows with speed. He'll carry below the goal. Hits by Almberg. With the speed of Owinski. Gets back up to the point. Across the ice to O'Malley. Good hesitation move. Gets a shot all the way in on Grimaldi. And that little hesitation move by O'Malley clearing space, that was subtle but really nice move by him.
Yeah, that was spectacular. Just enough to fool the defender.
Will Cusick up from his defensive spot, wants to get in on the offensive action. One of the great offensive defensemen here in the state. Now a huge hit as Almberg wasn't having any of it. And that's going to be cleared all the way down ice for no icing as a deflection was ruled. But we have our by far biggest hit of the game thus far here with 7 minutes left in the third period.
See some hands clapping down there for Mrs. Almberg after that one.
Josh Jenin waits, gets it back up top. Here's a shot, just misses the far post. Now looking to collect it is Keedy. Another shot. Cusick battling. Awkward collision behind the goal. Cusick trying to dig it out. And Trevian finally does. He'll wait and just clear it into center ice. Here's Jenin. Leaves for Cheris, but that was just a little bit offsides with 6:13 left in the third.
They went for that one, guys. It was a close one.
We're going to get another look at that O'Malley move where he just hesitated just a touch. Good look at that big hit right in the middle of the ice.
That's textbook. Almberg plays that exactly how you're supposed to. Didn't get caught watching the puck. He stayed with the body, and there was no scoring chance. Separated his man from the puck.
Still could have a penalty-less game, guys.
So here comes Keedy. He shoots, deflects, still loose. They score! Cole Rosenthal on the follow. I believe that's who's going to get credit for the goal for the CCHL. Back to a 4-goal lead for the Scholastic lead.
Yeah, there was a hard crash to the front of the net by Rosenthal. He's there to pick up the loose change. That was a rebound that Grimaldi could not handle this time. And this might have been knocked out of midair. And yes, indeed, that's some good hand-eye by Cole Rosenthal, because that puck was airborne when he basically bunted that thing into the net.
So with 5:45 to play, a 4-goal lead for the SHL. Now Charis gets it to his teammate. Across to Smith. Couldn't get it to go. Charis gets it right back. Smith settles it at the far blue line.
And don't look now, but the shots on goal gap has shrunk. As we take a look at the scoreboard, it's 31-25 now are the shots on goal.
Oh, here comes Tyler
margin
Smith
is
with
much
the breakaway. Has the puck roll off his stick. Backhanded shot. Couldn't get it to go. Schlee to clear it. Yeah, it's been much more competitive than a 6-2 score, I'll tell you that. Here's a shot. Gets deflected. Follow up from Felice wide of the net.
Seen a real heavy push here from the CCHL. This could be a very different game had they been able to capitalize early instead of hitting the post.
And Chris, you talk about the shots on goal. I mean, it's only a 7-shot difference. At one point in this game, I believe it was a 15-16, somewhere in that neighborhood difference. CCHL really pressuring now. Not impossible by any means.
Here's Smith at the far point. Winds up, shoots, gets a deflection right in front of the net from his teammate Michael Dimoff, but it deflected wide.
Yeah, Janice doing a nice job being on top of the crease on that play, taking that angle away if that tip did get on goal.
Now a shot from Charis, easily knocked down, and they'll take a defensive zone draw. 4:17 left in the third.
You got to wonder, maybe a timeout comes here for the CCHL. I mean, you have one in the bank, might as well use it. You're down 4. It feels pretty impossible, but it just really isn't, and especially in a game like this, an all-star game, doesn't look like they're going to go with a timeout here, but that's something to look for down the stretch.
Face-off comes to a stall, eventually gets kicked into the corner. Xandis Hoover trying to dig it out, trying to follow it was Medica, but not able to. That's going to lead to a chance here for the Catholic League. Across, just a bouncing puck, couldn't get it to go. Trying to jam it home. Grimaldi kept it out a couple of times.
That was a fantastic pass, but Medica in the way of that to get his body in there.
Medica drops, trying to get it back to the trailing Zach Freemuth, but couldn't connect. This one will go all the way to Grimaldi, who wants to get in on the action, so a nice stretch pass from him. Here's Freemuth. Freemuth, backdoor chance, couldn't finish it, was Jaegers.
Second time Freemuth and Jaegers have tried to connect. This time it goes from right to left, and both times were not successful.
3 minutes to go here, 3.5 to go in the third period. Jaegers stops, but has the puck roll off his stick back out in the neutral zone. He'll get it to Owen Just, but jumps over his stick, and now it'll be Mancini that settles it for the Catholic League. Here's Delphas trying to get it across towards net, but not able to get much on it. Was Zawinski covering it up. Grimaldi, offensive zone draw with exactly 3 minutes left to go in the game.
Yeah, the clock is the enemy of the Catholic League right now. They feel like they're starting to hit their stride and find a groove in this third period. If not for some great saves by Grimaldi, we could be looking at a 6-3 or 6-4 score right now. But you've definitely seen a lot more creativity, a lot more speed from the Catholic League.
Here's Nicosia, can't handle the puck as he came through the slot. Holmberg back at his own blue line, now breakaway chance, can't quite corral it. Band comes to support for GBS, turns it over, here's Zawinski. His shot went off the inside skate of Holmberg. Now with some space and time, Will Cusick trying to decide what to do. He'll get involved in the offensive action. Tries to draw it to his forehand. Checked off the puck. He was looking around. He wanted a penalty. Haven't had one to this point in the game. Don't think we're going to see one. Now with speed, look at Rosenthal breakaway. Trying to draw it to his forehand. Sprawling is Grimaldi to make sure that doesn't get behind him.
The way he got in front of Owen Almberg there, one of the best defensemen in the state, was SHL's second team last year. That's a great move by the Catholic League.
Yeah, Almberg did just enough to hang with them to make that a difficult shot, and Grimaldi hanging with them as well.
Delphos backdoor, trying to bury it off the back of the net.
14-on-14 action there below the goal line.
Battling it out with his numerical counterpart. Minute 25 to go. Alert stick right in front from Cusick to turn that aside. Nicosia is able to get the puck, but not out. Sandwiched against the boards. Losing it was Peralt. And Nicosia able to play it out. 1:08 to go here in the game. Can anybody get a parting goal here? It's 6-2 Scholastic Hockey League lead. And looks like they're going to take the very first Old Wooden Skates trophy. Really cool trophy. If you haven't had a chance to see it, I believe it was put up on the SHL Network Instagram page. So that's what these two leagues are playing for. And it looks like as of right now, SHL is going to come out on top in this inaugural event. Backdoor and shot. Kept out. Massaro trying to find his way onto the score sheet. Backhanded pass. Still loose. Massaro shoots. Turned aside. 30 seconds to go. So it's going to be the Scholastic Hockey League getting the bragging rights for year number 1, gentlemen. And it was an impressive effort. A lot of really good skill all over the ice. Ultimately, one last chance. Here's Smith's shot. Big save by Jancy. And then winding up shooting was Tyler Smith to put an exclamation on this one.
That was right off the dome for Janice making that save. Yeah, that one looked like it could have stunned him a little bit, but he had to make a follow-up save, and he is just totally unfazed. Some great goaltending there.
We've done several Bennett games, and it's a young team. I think they've got 9 sophomore skaters. He's that senior back stalwart that really stabilizes things for the Catholic League. Seen that here tonight. Waning seconds of the game. That will do it. Jumping off the bench is the Scholastic League. They're champions here of the SHL CCHL All-Star Game. A 6-2 final score. And you see down on the ice, we're going to have the presentation of the Old Wooden Skates trophy. I know we all look forward to this being an annual event between these two great leagues. But coming out on top, Scholastic Hockey League win this one.
That's a fun one. It was definitely a competitive game despite, a 4-goal gap between these two teams. We saw a lot of great chances on both sides, a lot of big saves, some hitting as well, and good defensive efforts.
Yeah, and just overall, these guys came to play, and we alluded to it plenty of times throughout the broadcast. This is a game that stayed competitive, stayed fun, stayed fast, and had good pace all around. And the SHL, they're probably the more talented league overall, and they come out with the victory in this one, 6-2.
A fun one about this one, too, guys, and it's something I was thinking about leading up to it, is all these guys get to play together here tonight. They're going to go right back to playing against each other here in just a couple of days. Some of these guys in just a couple of hours.
Right.
When you talk about Stevenson and Glenbrook North going to play against each other here tonight. It should be a fun second half of the season here on the SHL Network. Of course, we'll continue having your SHL Games of the Week. Over on the CCHL Network, we'll have the same as you see the Old Wooden Skates trophy. See a good view of that. You can get a nice shot of it up on the Instagram as well. But cool trophy these two leagues are playing for. And both these leagues have a lot to be settled here over the next couple of weeks.
No doubt about it. Now you move into the unofficial second half of the season where playoffs start to be on your mind. The state tournament starts to be on your mind, where you've got a stretch run of regular season games where you've got to be at your best and make sure your team is ready to go when crunch time rolls around at the end of February and into March.
Now they're about to get a picture with the Wooden Skates trophy. Coaches alongside the players, and what an honor by the SHL. what an honor to be voted to an all-star team, period, and then to go ahead and win that game. Pretty good feeling for these guys just before New Year's Eve.
Evan Polakidis, Jim Philbin, Tom Wood, Steve Martins, your game-winning coaches from the SHL. Great to have them representing the league as well. 4 fine head coaches in the SHL.
Yeah, and Steve Martins, former Chicago Wolf.
That's right. I saw his banner hanging as I walked in today. I wasn't sure. I assumed that was the same one. That's funny that you mentioned that.
There's
Wolf.
your Wolves SHL connection right there. How about that?
So that will just about do it for us here from Allstate Arena. Lots of thank yous here today, more than usual. Tim Weaver, thank you so much. Got a chance to thank him earlier in the broadcast. Can't thank him enough for all the hard work and effort he's put into this event. Sorry to hear that he was under the weather and couldn't make it, but his great team set us up well. No issues on our end, and perfectly smooth broadcast for us. So, Tim, thank you so much. John Seda, President of Business Operations, joined us as well.
And just one more thing, Max, I want to squeak in here before we go, is the All-Star festivities are not done yet. We still have the skills competition coming up, so if maybe you're watching this back later on tonight and you had a ticket to this game, that ticket works for the Wolves game, which is at 7 p.m., and skills competitions will be during the intermissions. If you can't be here in person, we won't be here on YouTube, unfortunately, but we will have live coverage on Instagram, so make sure you tune in for that.
Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate that. That is a cool added thing that we hadn't had a chance to talk about, so thank you for stopping me on that. Yep, there will be a skills competition as part of the Wolves game later tonight. I heard it's $3 beer night here at Allstate Arena, so it's not too late to grab your tickets. Come down to Allstate, see some high-flying hockey here at Allstate Arena. We mentioned Tim Weaver, John Sada from the Blackhawks. Big thank you to them. Of course, our great crew, Butch Connolly from St. Ignatius. Big thank you to him for showing up on a day off. We wanted to make sure we gave him good credit. He's been a good friend of ours here on the high school hockey circuit, and glad he could help us out. Matt Budin doing a great job, as he always does, on his camera work to my right. Jimmy the Wiz Olsen, all the great graphics, replays, and all the rest. I want to thank, of course, the coaches, too. Nick Ichancio, Evan Polakidis, the 2 league presidents. A lot of coordination goes into coordinating 10 schools on each side, 19 total, in order to make this all happen. So big thank you to those guys as well. Finally, our broadcasters, Dylan Ward to my left, Chris Dubio as well. I'm Max Anderson. Thank you so much for tuning into the inaugural SHL CCHL All-Star Game. We'll keep talking to you. Much more hockey to come down the line. Once again, your final, the Scholastic Hockey League takes it a 6-2 final. Thank you for tuning in on your home for SHL Hockey and the SHL Network on YouTube Live.